So the fight is finally here. Colby Covington's going to fight Jorge Masvidal literally 3 o'clock in the morning for the fight fans that are watching from the UK. Obviously it's been a long build up for this fight. They've been going back and forth for a very long time, and it's about to happen now. And I think it's a very interesting fight to some aspects. I think most people are going for Colby Covington to win. Now that's based on basically the fact that the fact that if you look at both of their performances against Kamaru Usman, you can argue that Colby Covington done a lot better than Jorge Masvidal. But you can't just go off this, because the fact is Kamaru Usman right now is just heads and levels above all the opposition that he's fighting right now. So the fact is, obviously styles do make fights, and with Kamaru Usman being as good as he is, he just looks like he's just on another level compared to any of these guys. But the fact is, man, in my perspective, I think this is a lot more of a closer fight than most people think it is, and it depends on a lot of factors. Now, I feel like Jorge Masvidal's got underrated wrestling skills. He does have good takedown defense, and you could actually see that in the first fight with Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman did struggle to take him down. Eventually he completely switched up the strategy for the second fight and decided to just knock him on his arse, because the fact is, he knows from a wrestling perspective, Jorge Masvidal's got underrated wrestling. He's got good takedown defense, and I think to some extent there could be a similar play that happens in this fight. If we're just going from a tactical play point of view, I think it's likely that Colby Covington's just gonna use the safety first approach, which is to just wrestle with Jorge Masvidal. I mean, he's talking about all this stuff about he doesn't want to wrestle and he wants to fight him, and it could happen, don't get it twisted, but I think I got a feeling Colby Covington's going to play to his strengths, and he's going to just try wrestling him. He's not going to try taking him strike with him, because Jorge Masvidal, whatever you think about him, he is a good striker. So the fact is, from that perspective, I think it's fair to say, I think Colby, if he goes for a wrestling approach, I think the fans are going to be a little bit disappointed, because I don't think the fight is going to be as exciting as we thought it's going to be. But if Colby goes for a striking approach, then I think that's going to give more opportunities for Jorge Masvidal to actually be more competitive against him. Now, from that perspective, if they were to fight each other, and Colby was decided to go for the striking approach, I think it's more of a 50-50 fight, and Jorge Masvidal's definitely going to have his moments. If he does decide to wrestle, Jorge Masvidal will have his moments, and he will wrestle and give good takedown defense, but I think it's going to be a dominant victory for Colby. But I think it's a lot more competitive if they decide to strike with each other. Now, even though Jorge Masvidal's got underrated wrestling skills to some extent, I feel like Colby to some extent does have underrated striking skills. He's not like a fight like a Conor McGregor, who's just going to knock you out with one shot or just hit you one time and hurt you. He's a fighter that likes to throw loads of shots, and he gently chips you down. He's got very good cardio, and he takes you into the late rounds and constantly throws shots until he chips you down. That's the way he decides. That's basically his MO in terms of how he likes to fight. He likes to give you a lot of volume, and he likes to chip you down and beat you that way. So from that perspective, I think it's fair to say that all of this depends on how Colby decides to fight him. If he decides to wrestle, then I think it's going to be a dominant victory for him. But if he decides to strike with him, then I see the fight going one way, which is it'll be more competitive, but I still think Colby's going to win. So that's my prediction. I think Colby's going to win this fight. I just think Colby's got all the skills in terms of like just the way he carries himself. I mean, he's just, you can just see it based on his last performance. I think he just has it. If Kamaru Usman was not champion right now, I think Colby Covington would be. Don't get it twisted. That doesn't mean I think he beats every fighter in the welterweight division. That's not true. I think there's probably fighters like Leon Edwards that could give Colby Covington a good fight. What's that guy's name? Vicente Luque could give him a good fight. I mean, you got Islam Makhachev's lightweight, sorry. You got other fighters coming up that could give him a potential good fight. The likes of like a Khamzat Chimaev and such, who's like this 6'3" powerhouse. So I don't think he beats everyone, but I think right now if Kamaru Usman was not champion, my money would be on Colby Covington actually being the champion and actually being the one that's heads and levels above everyone else. It's just that he came in an unfortunate time where Kamaru Usman was champion. Apart from that though, I think my money's on right now, if they were to fight, I think Colby Covington actually beats Jorge Masvidal via wrestling, via dominant 5-round decision, or he might even knock him down, because I feel like with Jorge Masvidal coming off his knockout loss to Kamaru Usman, I don't know if psychologically he's recovered from that. Jorge Masvidal is very, very much a tough guy. He's a tough SOB, but the fact is he's been fighting for 17 years now, and all the accumulation of losses that he's had, all the times he's been knocked down, I mean, it's got to wear on you, man. As a fighter, it's got to wear on you. I mean, it has to, because we look at these fighters like they're almost superhuman, like it doesn't affect them, but it does affect you to some extent. It has to. I mean, they're only human. They're not superhuman. So because of the fact that he's coming off a knockout loss, because of the fact that he's fighting a Colby Covington who's coming off a competitive fight against Kamaru, that some people think he won that fight. It might sound crazy, but with selective scoring, he could have potentially won that fight. I'm not saying he lost. Kamaru Usman got a gift decision. He probably didn't, but it was a competitive fight and it could have went either way. But I could see why some people thought it was competitive enough for it to be a win for Colby Covington. But it just depends on what you want to see as a fight fan. I actually think he won. I think Kamaru Usman did clearly win, but I can see what people are saying. So yeah, that's my opinion on this particular fight. Tell me your opinion. Who do you think wins? I think it's ironic as well that both of them, when they weighed in yesterday, they weighed in out on the 170.05 limit, which I find is ironic. So this shows just how well matched both of them are. They both literally came in at the same weight. They both are like similar height, similar size, similar reach. I mean, from that perspective, I just think it's fair to say that both of them are just like, they're almost made for each other. I would not be surprised if the fight was good enough that, because there's no one else in the lightweight, in the welterweight division for people to watch, that they constantly put this fight on. Like they make this like almost like a trilogy. Like there's several fights between the two. Like there's one fight, if Colby wins one, and then the second fight is competitive, and then the second fight Jorge Masvidal wins one, and then I wouldn't be surprised if there's a third fight between the two, because if it's entertaining enough for them, then the UFC will put it on, because the UFC are running out of competitive fights at welterweight. They need to start putting good fights on, because they're running out. Because Kamaru Usman has effectively cleaned up the division. Obviously, you got other people coming through, like the likes of obviously Khamzat Chimaev and such. But it's going to take a bit of time before they get there. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Tell me your opinion. Who do you think is going to win this fight? And like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.